Hey everyone, welcome back. Guess what? It's time to plant loofah. I am so excited that it's time to plant loofah again. Last year, I have to say, other than the tomatoes, that was probably my favorite thing that I grew. Number one, I didn't even know that loofahs grew on a plant. I thought they grew in the ocean. So that was a great surprise that you could actually grow them in your own garden. And it's kind of cool to grow something that, you can eat them. I didn't care for them too much, but apparently when they're babies, little tiny ones, you can eat them. But to be able to grow something that you can actually use was so cool. And I really want to recommend that anyone that has any space, and it really only takes about 3 feet by 3 feet because you're growing them up on a trellis or a teepee, I really recommend that you give it a try, because it was so fun not only to be able to harvest them, but when people came over, they had no clue what they were. And when I told them, they were just as shocked as I was to find out that they don't grow in the ocean. I ended up giving tons away, and people just went crazy for them. So I'm going to leave a link down below. I got my seeds from Baker Creek. There's a couple of things. These seeds are not the easiest to grow. Number one, you want new seeds. So definitely order them this year. Follow the link below to Baker Creek. I'll put a direct link to the seeds I got. I actually saved mine from last year. They produce hundreds of seeds, so there was no problem there. They're about as new as you can get. Another thing is you want to be able to soften the seed coat. And so you want to soak them in a mix of water and hydrogen peroxide. So for every about cup of water, just put in a couple of drops of hydrogen peroxide, and that will soften the seed coat. Let them sit in that for about 24 hours, and then they're ready to plant. Another thing about loofah seeds is they do not like to be transplanted. The problem is they require a super long growing season, several months. And if you live in a northern zone where you don't have a long summer, you're going to have some issues. So you're going to want to start them inside, which means you're going to have to transplant them. Now, to get around the transplant shock that they so easily get, you want to grow them in something that dissolves or disintegrates, that you don't have to take them out of a pot and stick them in the ground. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you know I use these little seed bags. These are really great. You can get 400 of them for about $13. I'll have a link down below for that. You can use Jiffy pellets. That's probably the two things you can use. They have little peat pots as well that you can use. Anything that you can stick in the ground and it's going to disintegrate, you want to use that for loofah. They don't like being transplanted. Another thing that's really handy, especially if you live in a short summer area, is a seed heat mat. Now these are actually good to have anyway for tomatoes, for peppers, things that like heat. But loofah, you're really gonna, this is not a necessity, but almost. These are really affordable too. I think this is $11, and I've had this one for 12 years, and it works just as well today as the day I got it. So it's actually a really cheap but great investment. Other than that, you can plant the seeds exactly how you'd plant anything else. You're going to bury them about a quarter to a half inch deep. Keep them moist, if possible, on heat. And within about 2 weeks, you should start to see some sprouts. And when they come up, they're going to look a lot like pumpkin or squash seedlings. Same family. Now, you can go back to the video that I did late last summer that kind of showed the plant, showed the loofah, showed me opening up the loofah. I'll put a link up here, and you can go see that. I'm also going to do a complete growing guide in a few weeks once mine are up and we're ready to plant them out, so that we can kind of do that together. But I wanted to put this video out just to let you know, get them started now. Order your seeds. You'll have them within a week from Baker Creek, and then plant them just like this. I have our last video we did about grow lights. I'll put another link. I'll put all these links down below too. They might pop up here. So you'll have everything you need to know to get these seeds off to a flying start. If you live in a climate like I'm in, where you really don't get frost, you can plant these outside after your last frost date, and you would be fine. If you do not, then I would say if your frost date is anywhere after March, you're going to need to start these inside. Okay, so that should be all the information you need. If you have any questions, definitely leave them down below. If you've grown loofah before and loved it or hated it, which I don't know why you would hate it, but if you have any tips, definitely leave those down below as well. Give us a like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.